Aussie is weak, so I want to look at the Aussie Swiss, and I want to look at the Aussie yen. So let's take a look at the Aussie Swiss, and just take a look at the daily chart. That Aussie couldn't even muster a positive close above the Swiss franc. That move, after all this decline and all the reversal that happened, that took place, all what it was able to do was to come and close at 79.97, and the previous daily low was 79.75. So it's just maybe 10 pips above. We don't really have any buy signal on the Australian Swiss, yet we have a close sell signal if it trades below the low of yesterday, which is the 79.75. So we're 25 pips away from our selling point. The trend, as you see, is extremely powerful to the downside. We don't have any buy signal. So if we look at the Aussie Swiss from last week, our selling point was 86.67. That was a brilliant sell. Look at this. Wow. That's impressive. And guys, I just while I'm looking at this, this is what I want you to keep an eye on when you're doing your selection for all of next week. And this I'm talking to all of you. Whenever you have a trade that we have the structure point is similar to either the buy or the sell signal, these will be the one on the top of your hierarchy when you're choosing which pairs to buy or sell. Because when you have a sell signal that's the same as the structure point, you can anticipate this kind of magnificent moves. So if you want to choose what to buy or what to sell, then when we're done with the radar screen at the end of the session, your top of the list will be the ones that have either the same long and structure point or the same short and short structure point. So let's see where we're gonna. Again, if you look at this chart, it is quite clear that we closed near the low of the day of 79.76. So if I'm looking at this chart and I'm trying to identify a place to buy it, it's obvious that I wouldn't be buying it unless it goes above the 81. So from here till 81, there is no reason for us to buy the Aussie Swiss. Any trade above here is nothing more than noise, if you will, and only if it gets above the 81 handle, then this is what I'm going to buy. On the short side, I can short it below the 79. Let's say we're going to use the 79.50 because it's a weekend, so we can short it below the 79.50. And if I do, my structural short is going to be the all-time low. The structural short, I have to identify a structural short from here. So this is going to be my structural short point. So 79.41 is my structure point, which is below the current price, and we did actually test it on Friday. That's interesting, and we bounced. So I will go short below the previous day's low, and my structure short is the 79.41, which seems to be good that we have bounced above it, bounced back above it when we so let's put this. So my structure short is 79.41, and my short point is 79. I'm using this. I'm expecting the opening range over here, so I want to take it below the 79.76. So I'm going to use the 79.60. And if I go short below the 79.60, I have to use this structure point as my stop. So my stop for the short side is going to be 80.40. So if I'm going to go short over here, my stop is right above here. This is my structure point, and it's the top of the range. On the long side, I'm going to go long above the 81. I don't have any buy signal above that, and if I buy it above the 81, I don't have a choice but to put my stop. Let me find the place. We have to use a big stop. I have to use about 100 pip stop on that trade. I have to place my stop below 80.05. So it's a high risk trade, but if you want to take it, use a small size. But having said that, it will actually be a pretty good trade, to be honest with you. Even though our stop has to be big, it's going to be volatile, but it's going to be quite an interesting trade because it's going to be a short covering rally. So once you get this short covering, you're going to get an explosive move, but you have to place your stop in the right place. So if I my structure long, well, I don't have, that's the only structure long, which is the 86.67, and my structure short is the 79.41. Okay, so to wrap it up, wrap the Aussie Swiss, I'm going to buy the Aussie Swiss above 81, and if I do, I'm placing my stop about 100 pips away. That's how big you have to use the stop, because it's a counter trend move. And my structure long is going to be the 86.67, so you have a 600 pip move to the upside if you do take the buy. On the short side, we're going to go short below 79.60, which is the prior daily low, and if I do, I have a structure point which is only about 20 pips away from my short entry. So the odds are we're going to test that structure point if we trade below the 79.60, and of course if it breaks below that, you're looking for a continuation to the downside, because this is a big structure point, and your stop is only 40 pips away, so you're risking, now your stop actually is big also, you're risking about 80 pips. So on either the long or the short side, we have quite wide stops on the trade, and that is, again, that's the nature of this pair because of how the chart is structured. Okay, that is the Aussie Swiss. What I'm